one of the things that really was upsetting to me was their warrant, which I saw, was only requesting patients with Medicare records.
Right.
And they chose to take every record out of this building, Medicare or not. And when I questioned them, their answer to me as they looked down their nose was, "We are the FBI, we can do what we want."
Wow.
That included patients, two of which were my family members, that while in college they were private pay. No money from any government agency or private insurance paid for it.
They have no right to even look at that.
They have their records. You know, where is that right? They just were lazy. Instead of finding what they needed, they took everything.
The fact that they haven't even given it back to you yet.
I asked about that. Their answer was, "We will take these back to our office in Tallahassee. We will scan them. In 4 to 6 weeks, you will have your records available to you again."
It's been a lot longer than that.
It's been more than a year since that's happened. And making the records available to us has been difficult as well for our patients to receive them back.
Right.
Again, most of us worked with Dr. Colasante in Hawthorne, or a lot of our patients.
Right.
Over 400 patients followed her to this practice in Gainesville once this practice opened again, because they were following Dr. Colasante.
Right.
The other thing that I noticed and questioned at some point was they were packing everything up, boxing everything up, bringing it out. Then there was a paper on the side of it where one would sign that they were receiving those.
Right.
Now, in my history, I've worked in emergency departments where I've done chain of custody. I assume that's what it was.
Right.
I watched in this waiting room for hours while they brought boxes out and did this. Later on in the day, they realized that two of the people had left that needed to sign a particular box. 2 different agents called those people on their cell phones and said, "If you're in the area, come back and sign this." I asked one of the FBI agents, they were carrying those boxes out to the car, "How can you take those if the chain of custody has not been maintained, established?" And she snapped at me, "That is not chain of custody. You do not know what you're talking about."
Wow.
And at that point, I apologized to her and threw in there that I had some forensic history in working in forensics, and that's what I assumed it was, since they were concerned that the people had not signed those and called trying to get them to come back. My other main concern about how they did this was, you know, every day we have stacks of prescription refills, patient phone calls. My concern was for my patients, how was I going to address those if they were taking everybody's chart? And the agent, I don't remember which one it was, very snottily said to me, "Oh, the same people that you're stealing money from their insurance companies." And they didn't care.
So it's all right to put your patient's health at risk by taking
Right.
away all the information.
Again, like I said, it's a lucky thing that so many of the employees here worked with Dr. Colasante and these same patients over the years. So a lot of their medical records are in our brains,
Right.
you know, and in our hearts. The number of patients that came by just that afternoon that didn't live here, but they came by for their appointment and they were blocked. At one point, I stayed here with Catherine because they wouldn't let us back in the building, but I was the one that lived the closest so that I could lock the building.
Right.
We put beach chairs out front and sat out front until it was time for them to go, but I had 3 or 4 patients pull up in the parking lot, want to know what was going on, offered to go get us something to eat or drink.
Right.
So
It
was
like
a very, very long day,
Yeah,
and it's
sure.
been a very long year.
Yeah.
The fact that the majority of these patients are still here
Right.
means that
I
they
mean,
believe in the doctor that's provided care to them. Some of their
Exactly.
families 15 years up.
A lot of practices wouldn't be able to recover from that.
Right, exactly.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.